You know I don't have a lot of time. I've got to do this show with Jalen every single day. I've got twins. I've got an older kid. I've got 3 kids and a job. I don't have time to go shopping. And that's why 5-4 Club understands that your time is extremely valuable. Why waste it at the mall wandering around all those stores trying on clothes and not being happy when you get home? They've been the leading menswear brand for over 15 years. You can trust 5-4 with your wardrobe. Here's what they do. Every month, they send you a curated box of just 2 or 3 items that are handpicked to match your style and your fit. They know exactly what they're doing. So if you don't, that's okay. 5-4 Club will help you build your wardrobe 1 month at a time. You get $120 worth of clothes for just $60 a month. And if you've got clothes and you've got your wardrobe to the way you like it, you can pause or cancel at any time. What 5-4 Club does is they partner with cutting-edge designers and brands so you get the same quality as top designer clothes, but for way less. You don't have to go to the mall, and you save all that time. Guess who else is using 5-4 Club? Not just me. Chris Paul, Mark Wahlberg, and others are all using 5-4 Club. And 5-4 is featured not just here, but in GQ and Vice and InStyle. Here's what you do. Go to 54club.com right now and enter promo code JJ. And they'll give you 50% off your first month's package. Plus, you get a free pair of sunglasses. That's 50% off your first package at 5-4 Club, spelled FIVEFOUR Club.com. Promo code JJ at 54club.com. Promo code JJ. Let 5-4 Club get you fly.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is not Jalen Rose. Today, in for Jalen Rose, Steven Jackson. Hairline looks good, though.
I mean, it's cool. My hairline's there, but it's not Jalen's.
I mean, it's
Shout
not.
out to the best hairline in the world, Jalen Rose.
he's got the hairline, but you probably got a better game right now than Jalen does.
Oh, yeah. I'll kill him right now.
There you go. Well, the Bucks' newest addition, Eric Bledsoe, went on the Clutch Sports LeBron James approved uninterrupted network, and he had a message for the fans. Let's listen to it right now.
Man, it's been a long couple of weeks. I just want to, start by saying I've never been a liar.
Why did he have to start by saying he's never been a liar, Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, that I didn't like that. That's my little brother. I think he started that off the wrong way. I think the only thing he should have said was, I enjoyed my time in Phoenix, Milwaukee. I'm looking forward to being a great basketball player, and I'm excited to come, point blank. I don't think he had to justify anything. Now he's reopening the can of worms that was already closed.
Obviously, he's talking about Ryan McDonough, saying that his story to Ryan McDonough, the GM of the Suns, that he was in the hair salon. That's why he tweeted, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
And Ryan McDonough said he didn't believe it, basically calling him a liar, so now he's doing that. But here's the thing. He could have tweeted, "I don't want to be here" from the hair salon, but he wasn't talking about the hair salon.
I would give him the credit. No man wants to be in a hair salon. But let me say this. Since I've been in the NBA, I've never sat in a hair salon with my significant other.
So here's what it is I've been with the same woman for 15 years, so I don't go to hair salons.
Right.
He's newly married.
Right.
So he's still in that newlywed phase where you do things like that for your mate. But I'm not going to the hair salon.
But no. But no. He didn't want to be in Phoenix. Let's be real.
Yeah, he didn't want to be in Phoenix.
Nice. Hey, now the beauty shop line was a nice twist to it.
It was.
Very intelligent, but no.
Exactly.
No.
Well, let's hear what the rest he had to say.
I'm extremely excited, to be a Milwaukee Buck. I hope you guys excited as me. I'm ready to play in front of the fans. I play in front of, on the visitor side, and it was great.
So, what do you think he's going to bring to this Bucks team?
You can see from this video though, he's just a young kid that's full of life, that loves the life he's living and loves to play basketball.
Yes.
I don't see a worry or a care in his eyes.
He's happy.
He's
happy,
excited. I think Milwaukee's going to get a tough skinned kid that wants to play hard. They call him Baby Braun for a reason, because he's strong and he competes, he plays, he can guard 3 positions at that size. I think he's something that they need. I think J. Kidd is going to need like a pit bull type of guard, and Bledsoe fits that description.
I think so too, and I also think that he adds a veteran presence. They have a very, very young team. You know what I mean? They're starting five as Thon Maker in it, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brogdon,
right?
And especially at the point guard position, Jason Kidd's like, now I've got a vet, someone who's been in the league for a long time, understands the plays, understands who to give the ball to, who not to give the ball to. And I think that is really going to help.
Yeah,
as well.
Because Brogdon, a lot of times, as you see, even in close games, Brogdon isn't really solid on his playmaking and his decision making. I think Bledsoe can take the ball pressure off Giannis at the end of the game sometimes now and make plays, and I think that'd be big for him.
And less minutes for Dellavedova.
Yes, please. I love Delly, but get Delly out of there.
He's averaging 21 minutes a game so far this season. Something tells me that number's going to go down into the single digits.
Got your money,
Mr.
Delly.
Bledsoe's here.
Chill out.
He's got his own signature sneaker. You got your own signature sneaker, Delly. Like, you'll be good. You'll be fine.
I think Delly got enough fans. He don't need to play.
He doesn't. He's got a whole country behind him. The Thunder, who have a newly formed Big Three, lost to the Sacramento Kings in the trio of Westbrook, Carmelo, and Paul George combined for 15 for 54 and looked all out of sorts on offense. They're now 4-6. They're on a 3-game losing streak. What is going wrong in Oklahoma City?
Well, I'm not even paying attention to it. I think for the most part, I like what I see. I like the fact that everybody's trying to step back and make this thing work and try to buy in. I like the fact that they're more worried about defense and becoming a great defensive team, because I think they understand that's what's going to get them to having a great season is defense. They're going to be able to score points with anybody. The biggest problem with them right now, Jacoby, is at the end of the games, they don't know who to give the ball to. They don't know who it is, who's going to be the go-to guy on any given night. It's going to be different guys. I think they're still figuring it out. I think the coach needs to figure out, too, do I need to have Russ initiate the play and get it to one of those, to Paul or Carmelo, or do I need to have those guys ISO? Like, he's still trying to figure it out too. So it's a lot of stuff that they're figuring out, but I'm not worried about it. I think they'll be fine coming into the season.
Well, that's really interesting. It certainly seems like they're very conscious about spreading the ball around.
They're not stepping on each other's toes.
Yes, they're literally averaging. Listen. They're all averaging 20.1 points a game, and they're taking just over 17 shots a game apiece. So they have kind of identical stats, and I think they're conscious of moving the ball around. And then over time, that sort of go-to guy in the way that they run their offense will figure itself out.
Yeah, and they're going to figure it out. And it's going to be different nights. You know, some nights Russ might have an outstanding game where, okay, we would drop it to Melo on the post, but let Russ go and try to get the game winning bucket. Or night's going to be Russ and Paul playing well. So it's going to be different. I think that they got to figure that out, who's going and who to get the ball to at those clutch times.
Who do you think over time will emerge as all right, we need a shot, who do we give the ball to?
I honestly think Russ will be the initiator, but I think PG will be the guy. I think so? Paul's going to be the guy.
Do you think Paul George, or let me rephrase the question, what will it take to make Paul George seriously consider staying in Oklahoma City?
Winning, being successful, and I think even when we're talking about that shot, I think Paul's going to be the guy, but he has to have the confidence that Melo has. Melo can shoot 10 and shoot the 11 like he made the last 10. I think Paul has to be more like that. But in order for him to be there, they have to have a successful season. They have to at least go deep in the playoffs, second, third round, for him to come back.
Well, this guy used to be under the radar, but now he is the NBA's worst kept secret, and that is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets.
Him.
He, on Tuesday night, he scored a career high 41 points, outscored all of the Nets starters by himself. What is he doing in Denver, and what is Denver doing with him that's making him so successful?
Well, he's a big man that has great touch around the basket. I think his passing is underrated.
Yes.
I think his basketball IQ is underrated to be so young. This kid is definitely something that the Nuggets can hang their organization on, but the fact that he can do so many things and he does them well, I think it's a great time for big men in the league right now. You have the big guys in the league that's doing more things than the guards. They're posting up, they're defending, they're shooting threes. So this is a great time for the NBA for big men.
Well, someone who's always been Jokic has always been compared to is Kristaps Porzingis, and he continued this streak of brilliant game after brilliant game. Against the Hornets, he scored 28 points on 10 for 15 from the floor, 4 threes. Do you see him continuing this tear through the season that he's set up so far?
Yeah, I definitely do, because I think being with Melo, he saw how to go hard and how to be relentless. But now he's having success and he's carrying the team himself and they're winning. I think that's helping him get the confidence he needs to be that star player. And, you know, what's good about it is in New York, now you have a guy that you can hang your organization on, a guy that's playing well, wants to win. He's showing that he's going to be a star, and it's erasing all the bad talk with Phil Jackson and all that stuff that was going on. So I'm happy for him. And I think this kid is going to be, especially when he gets a jump shot, a real down-pack jump shot, he's going to be unstoppable.
He's got a great jump shot, and his defense, he blocked Cody Zeller in 3 straight field goal attempts in 1 possession in the last game.
You can't teach that.
It's just so hard to jump and jump and jump and jump like that.
And he showed emotion afterwards. I love to see that.
I feel like you mentioned him showing emotion. I watched a lot of Knicks games. I lived in New York for a long time, and I felt like that was sort of held back a little bit because he was so clearly not the leader of the team with Carmelo Anthony there. But now he is leader of the team. I feel like he's coming into his own with his personality and his leadership role. Obviously, Jarrett Jack has a lot to do with leadership and keeping them all together. But he is clearly the future of the franchise in Kristaps Porzingis, and there's finally something to be excited about in New York City.
When he can be himself, I think that's what they want. And like I said, everything he's doing right now is exciting to see. So the upside is great for him.
He just needs to stop sliding the DMs of Instagram models. He just needs to slow down.
No.
Come on, Kristaps.
Hey, man, getting Rihanna, getting whoever DMs you want to, and if you don't get in Rihanna's DM, then DM her for me. All right.
Now we're going to open up our 1-800-Flowers tweet feed. We're going to go to our Reddit site, reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby. Take questions from you, our listeners, because we... First question we have is from Justin on Twitter. Justin wants to know, if the Cavs don't get the 1, 2, or 3 seed, do you think they will still make the finals?
Is it elephant heavy?
Yes.
Yes.
My concern level for the Cavs is at like 0. It really is.
You got LeBron James, so don't even worry about the Cavs till he retires.
Here's what happens. Here's my theory about LeBron. Thursday, everyone's talking about the Cavs losing, and the Cavs need this and that. Friday, the Cavs are losing. Friday night in Washington, he just reminded everybody, if I need to single-handedly win a basketball game, I will do so. I will score 57 points. I can post up anybody. I'm the best player in the game. I'm just trying to get this team together. That's why we're losing.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all. And
the Kang is the Kang.
Yes, especially with the Celtics. You know, the Celtics, look, they won 9 in a row. They're playing great defense. I get it. But that's all cute.
They're playing better as a team.
Yes, but like without Gordon Hayward on that roster, I just don't see that team winning the Eastern Conference.
And the only team that I can see right now that can compete with any team in the West is Cleveland.
It's Cleveland. I think that's fair. And listen, you've been in the NBA for a long time. I've been watching the NBA for a long time. Sometimes things happen in a 7-game series. Not always the best team wins a 7-game series.
Right.
Like things happen. So, you know, could the Raptors go on a run or something? Sure, it could happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. Exactly. No. Thank you so much for the tweet, Justin. Don't forget, we're at Jalen and Jacoby on Twitter. I love this question from Allie. Allie hitting us on Woman Crush Wednesday with a great question. Steven, is it a good idea for couples to move in with each other and not be married, but plan to get married one day?
Yes, I think it is, because you can get to know the person, you can get to live with the person, see when they pass gas, if they leave the toilet up, what they do that you don't like. You get to see that all before you make that final commitment. Because once you make that commitment, it's hard to get out of that.
You don't want surprises.
It's not cheap to get out of that
look,
one.
I understand culturally and religiously people have different feelings about this. So, like, of course, you know, follow whatever your heart tells you to do.
Right.
But I personally would never, ever, 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 ever commit to someone for life that I didn't live with before.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't look at somebody and say, I'm going to live with you forever without even living for a week together.
Yeah.
You have to know everything, because there is so much more that you learn about a person when you live with them. You know, how many times have 2 best friends moved in together? Not even romantically. 2 best friends moving together and it doesn't work. Like, that's just the way it goes. And you have to make sure that it does work. Thank you so much for the question, Allie, on Woman Crush Wednesday. We also have a voicemail. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. Let's listen to the first voicemail, Reg.
What's up, Jalen and Jacoby? This is Haj from the West Africa, living in Baltimore, Maryland. Been listening to you guys for about 6 months now. First-time caller. Shout out to everybody in there. I have a prediction for you guys. I hear y'all talk about all the teams that LeBron is going to go to next year, but I never hear y'all mention the San Antonio Spurs. I think he's going to go there next year. That's my prediction. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Keep giving the people what they want. Shout out.
Shout out to Hodge.
Shout out Hodge.
In Baltimore from West Africa.
Be more.
There's so much talk about where LeBron's going to go. Where LeBron's going to go. LeBron doesn't know where he's going to go.
Pop can pull it off, though.
It could happen, but let's first acknowledge that LeBron doesn't know where he's going to go.
I don't think he's going nowhere.
I don't think he would go to the Western Conference. I don't think he would go somewhere else in the Eastern Conference.
Well, at this point, he controls the league.
Yes.
He does what he wants, goes where he wants, says what he wants. Me personally, I don't think he's going to leave, but you never know. You never know.
When
he got businesses out here.
Yes, and when he went to Cleveland, it was clear that the Kevin Love trade was already semi-agreed to.
Right.
Like, he didn't put Wiggins in the announcement for a reason, because they knew they were moving Wiggins for something. So I'm just trying to illustrate a point that LeBron James, as you say, controls the league. He moves chess pieces that aren't on his team.
Right.
And so I could see him doing some real behind-the-scenes work, some would call it tampering, and setting himself up on a team like Los Angeles or the Spurs, but it would involve a lot of different pieces. Like,
right.
He's not going to go to the Lakers to play with Lonzo
and
Ball
lose.
and Brandon Ingram and like be a veteran teacher in the locker room and show them how the culture works. Like, he's not there for that.
He can do that in Cleveland.
Yes, he can do that anywhere. I mean, my thing is, I think that LeBron James will never not be on a super team, whatever we're calling super teams now.
Right.
For the rest of his career. For the rest of his career. He doesn't have time for 7 seeds, 6 seeds.
He won't be on a team that's rebuilding either.
Yes, I don't think that's something he doesn't have to.
Right.
And if it comes to it, I think he would even take less money to go somewhere where he can give himself a chance to win.
Right.
Do you think that is an option? I like to ask athletes this, because as a fan, we always say, it's so easy to say as a fan, what's the difference between 10 million and 15 million if I could win? It's so easy for us to say that, but could you see veteran, Hall of Fame type players taking less money to all play on the same team
I could
next
definitely
season?
See that, especially with a guy like LeBron.
So many revenue streams.
Yeah, as much money he's making off the court, I think, especially him is with contributing to his greatness and where he wants to be when he retires. He wants to be around that 5-6 championship range with Kobe and Mike. So I definitely think he would do something like that. I think he would entertain it.
I also feel like there's no secret that he lives here in Los Angeles. Right. And I think that Magic Johnson, he said that he wants to be an owner. And I think that Magic Johnson on the text, Magic has the way of just making you believe in him. And that's the only thing that would make me think that perhaps the Lakers are on the board. But why would you go to the Western Conference?
Well, if I had Magic selling me part ownership and all that to the Lakers, that would be definitely, that'll get him here. Being a part owner, Kobe doesn't even have that. So if they offered that to LeBron, that would get him here. That would get any player here.
They wouldn't offer that to him on the table. That would be the wink, wink, under the table, like overtime.
Trust me, stuff like that might happen.
And Los Angeles, if you're thinking about LeBron over the next decade, not over the next season, probably ends up in Los Angeles, right?
I mean, it's hard not to say that, considering so much stuff going on here. But that's one thing about the King; he's unpredictable.
He is. But some tells me after he wins or loses, most likely loses and takes off that uniform.
If he loses, I think he's
he's going to take off the uniform. He's going to get Maverick and Rich Paul and Randy in the same room, and then they're just going to start making phone calls, and you'll see Boogie Cousins and him and Paul George of the Lakers or something.
Yeah, but then you're going to hear a Woj on ESPN. Breaking news.
Yeah,
Woj.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, from our co-producer Matthias.
Shout out.
Quick question as we come to the close in this segment. Stack, who is the MVP of rap music? So I guess let's just say this year. That's a hard question. You're not prepared for it. We're not going all time. Just right now.
The MVP of rap right now would be Gucci Mane.
Oh, I might think Kendrick or Drake.
Gucci Mane has made so much money since he's gotten out of jail.
Looks great
BET
too.
paid him a couple
Got
million for the wedding.
Yeah.
Bought his and her race for him. Like Gucci has really wrote a book, was one of the bestsellers. I was on the bestseller list. The book he wrote. Gucci's everywhere, and if you get incarcerated and you come home and you want to change your life, you need to look at what Gucci's doing. I think he's the MVP of rap right now.
In the woods with Sam Alapur is Jimmy Butler. Canoeing, s'moresing, and he had a mishap with the canoe. Let's watch.
With no fish. That sound, that scream, Jimmy. I got to talk to you about that.
Does he know how deep the water is?
You set me up.
Well,
the water is 18 inches deep.
Well, hey, for Jimmy's defense, hey, growing up in black neighborhoods and black households, we were taught you can drown over a teaspoon of water. And most black people can't swim, so I'd have been panicking right along with him.
He insisted, let's watch again. He insisted on having 2 life jackets, Steven. He insisted on 2 life jackets. But look at the water. You cannot drown in that. You know you're close to the shore. He's looking at Sam's ankle deep in the water.
I'm more worried about the screams.
I let out those screams, though. I let out those screams. You know when you get scared or something, or you see like a mouse. Like, in New York, when a rat would run past me in the street, I would make the worst scream. You look around to hope that no one listened. Well, in the same episode, he actually talked about basketball and his exit from Chicago. He sounds a little salty. Let's listen.
You're not the kind of player teams make available. Why do you think they made you available?
I probably went about a lot of things the wrong way. People don't work as hard as I do, and they don't expect the same things out of the game that I do. And that's my fault, and I've learned from that. And I said from the beginning it was either going to be me or the Fred Hoiberg route, and rightfully so, they took Fred. Good for them. I got that game marked on my calendar, February 9th, baby, I'm back.
So he's got that game marked on his calendar. He knows the date and everything. What is that feeling? Did you ever do that? Did you ever have those days?
Going back to the Pacers, I gave them 36. Going back to the Warriors after they traded them, I gave them 30. I think you look forward to that. You look forward to going back and showing them what they missing or what they got rid of. I think for Jimmy's one of my favorite players in the league because he plays on both ends of the court. And going back to Chicago, he's going to look to have a big game. And every player that takes pride in the game, or every player that wants to win or loves the game, they want to go back and have that big game. And any player that doesn't, I'm not that type of guy. I want to get that revenge game.
One of the things that's been successful so far with him on the Timberwolves is he has sort of deferred to Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins and sort of shared the ball and focused on defense. Do you think that will change on that night when they go to Chicago?
I mean, it will change on that night as far as the other team as his teammates, because his teammates want to see him play well against his previous team. I know every time I went back, my teammates fed me the ball to make sure I have a good game.
Would they say something to you before the game?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This your night. You want to let's go have a good night. You know, and that's how it's supposed to be. And you want your teammates to support you, but deferring to those young guys, I think is smart. You know, that's why Jimmy's a great player. That's why a lot of teams want him. That's why he's an all-star, because he buys in and he understands winning is more important. And having these young guys at the top of their game is the only way that Minnesota's going to be successful. He's going to do his part, but having those young guys at the top of their game, that's what they need.
And they've been successful so far. A team that's been successful so far in a shocking way has been your San Antonio Spurs. Without Kawhi Leonard. Now it looks like Kawhi Leonard might not come back for even longer. They've managed to not just stay afloat, but to succeed. How are they doing that?
They've been doing it for years. You know, finding guys to plug in, finding the right guys to play. I think Rudy Gay's been great. Having Rudy Gay in, you know, another scorer that can kind of fill in for Kawhi. But I'm never worried, you know, when Pop or when Will Sevening, which is their trainer, when they're involved. You know, I think they're going to always do what's best for the player and what's best for the team, even if it means sitting Kawhi out and not having him for a lot of games. And it's going to help him in the long run. I think Pop cares more about the player than actually playing, and that's what I love about Pop.
That's the thing is people that have been around Pop just believe in him through and through. But when they do things like sign Pau Gasol for that contract they signed him for, like, don't you have to look at that and be like, really?
No,
How?
I don't, because I think he knows that Paul's going to bring something that they need to be successful. I mean, one thing about, like I said, I'll never question Pop, but my only question is me knowing Kawhi as a brother, me knowing Kawhi as a basketball player and as a friend. I know how much he loved the game. I know how he wants to be one of the best ever, and not playing all this time, I know it's bothering him. So it's kind of worrying me to see him miss so many games, because I know how much he wants to play.
We have to talk about it. LiAngelo Ball.
Yeah.
Was in China.
Yep.
With a couple teammates.
Mm-hmm.
One named Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And his other teammate, Cody Riley.
Mm-hmm.
They were at the Louis Vuitton store. They reportedly left with sunglasses that they did not pay for. They've been arrested. There's bail. The authorities are involved. The question is this. Do you think they all stole a pair of sunglasses, or one of them stole a pair of sunglasses?
If one stole a pair, they're even more idiots than I thought. If you going to jail for one pair of glasses, you all can't wear one pair of glasses.
But that's kind of what I feel is happening, because it'd be even stranger to think you're going to get away with all three of you stealing a pair of sunglasses.
Well, why are you stealing glasses when you... I think last month, you guys, the Ball brothers were pulling up in Ferraris and all kind of stuff to the parties, but you're stealing glasses?
So I think that one of them stole the glasses. So then let's put yourself in that person's shoes.
Who's snitching?
Don't you just cop to it to get your boys out? Like, let's say it is Jalen that stole the glasses. I have no idea.
Right.
Don't you say Cody had nothing to do with it, he didn't even know. LiAngelo had nothing to do with it, he didn't know. This is on me. Don't you do that?
A real one? You know what I would have said? If it say Steven stole the glasses. Yeah, I stole them. I don't even know who else. I didn't see nobody else there. Wasn't nobody else there. I was by myself.
Yes.
You don't implicate your brothers. You don't snitch.
It seems like
you don't D'Angelo Russell.
It seems like all three of them are in trouble for this one pair of sunglasses. I don't know if that's true. It's even stranger if all three of them think they can get away with stealing sunglasses, especially from the Louis Vuitton store. You think they don't have security at the Louis Vuitton store?
Look, I got friends that's been in cars with a lot of drugs, and they take the case for their friend. If you can't take the case for some glasses, something wrong with you, okay? Something wrong with you. You're not my friend.
I just want to thank you so much for coming through.
Anytime.
We always appreciate that.
My pleasure, man.
I'll take the glasses wrap for you any day.
Any day. I got your back, too.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha. Night. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
I want to thank Steven Jackson for coming on in lieu of Jalen Rose, and now we have another guest, a reoccurring guest, Amin El Hassan. Thanks so much for coming by.
This is my TV debut, by the way.
Always appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Well, good. We have a game called Keep It Moving. You're familiar.
If
it's worth talking about, you say hit the brakes, and we discuss it. But a lot is not worth talking about, and me, you, and Meth Men just keep it moving. First, Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis are still not talking. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Oh, hit the brakes, man.
On his first public comments after the fight last month, Portis said he texted and called Mirotic but did not hear back. And there's reports from Mirotic's camp that there was some sort of him or me kind of thing.
Right.
That Nikola Mirotic is laying down the law.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I think it's weird, right? Because on the one hand, we're like, come on, Mirotic, who are you to lay down ultimatums, right? On the other hand, I posed this question the day that story came out on Twitter. How do you feel about that? Showing up to work to someone who whooped your tail.
Well, one of the reports were that Mirotic was the aggressor in the altercation.
He started.
So I think it sounds like if that's true, that Mirotic was the aggressor in the altercation and ended up getting punched in the face and hurt, someone in Mirotic's camp needs to tell him, not the Bulls, to get rid of Portis, needs to tell him, like, look, man, this is just bygones. Like, let's just keep moving on.
But that's my thing. It's regardless of who's at fault, can you go back to work and just be, oh, what's going on? Oh, the weather's nice today.
Oh, no problem.
I don't know.
Hold grudges like that. Like, whatever.
I could see that being awkward, like, especially someone sent you to a hospital. Like, the idea of working with a coworker who has wronged you, I guess, in one way or another, even if you had it coming, I don't know. I don't know how people do it.
I think one of the big differences is if you're Portis, is like, not only did you provoke me to punch you in the face, but you cost me money. Like, you got paid.
Yep.
Nikola Mirotic got paid through the whole thing. But Portis, that's a big chunk.
You know what also happened? By both of them being out, Lauri Markkanen got to play.
And now he's blown up.
He wildly picked both of them.
I always wanted Lauri Markkanen to be good. Next, the Polish government says its population is shrinking, and they literally ask their citizens to multiply like rabbits. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. This is a Disney platform, okay?
A gas-addicted monkey was caught drinking fuel from parked motorcycles. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
You know where I'm going. Hit the brakes.
Motorcyclists in Thailand say after work they would repeatedly find their motorcycles being drained of fuel by an unknown thief, and they found out that it was a monkey. I actually have some personal experience with this. No monkey has stolen gas from my vehicle, but I have been to Thailand, and I will say they've got some aggressive monkeys there, man. What? Monkeys that are used to being around people. We don't have monkeys here. When in other countries, when they're used to being around people, they can be very aggressive.
Well, how did it learn to siphon?
Great point.
I don't know how to siphon.
I'd never understood the physics of siphoning. It's like, oh, you put this hose in here, and all of a sudden it magically defies gravity.
Oh, yeah,
you suck a little bit? I never understood how it works. Yeah, I don't want gas in my mouth. I'll go to the gas station. I'll walk. Next. Kanye West may be starting his own streaming service. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving.
Thank God.
Fatigued.
Drake wants to spend $160,000 on a Harry Potter book. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. I care not for Harry Potter.
Uber is planning on launching a, self-flying car service by 2020.
We gotta hit the brakes on that one.
All right. Uber has partnered with NASA to develop Uber Air. The idea is that you will open the app, make a reservation, and get the next flying sky taxi. Can I say something about this? I've been involved with a lot of projects in my life and my career.
Right.
Do you know what they don't do? They don't launch on time. It's like you think by 2020 we'll be flying around in Uber cars?
But no, my favorite thing is it's assuming that regular Uber, they're doing fine. And so we got to start looking forward to other stuff to do.
How about this? Let's start with the driver that doesn't ask me a million questions. Even though I've only given one-word answers. Let's make sure we get chargers in every one. And don't smell. Let's start there before they start flying around by themselves.
Small, achievable goals.
Baby steps, Uber. Let's not partner with NASA. First, let's partner with an air freshening company. Let's just start small. Let's start small, Uber. We'll always be your consultant. Uber, we will be your consultants. The NFL has invited Colin Kaepernick to have a one-on-one conversation with Commissioner Goodell. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. How much more? No,
we kept it moving.
You don't know
Once you keep moving, you keep moving.
Okay.
A man faked his own murder after discovering his wife had hired a hitman to kill him.
Brakes.
That is the most. If you say keep it moving, I would have just left. A Texas woman named Lulu Sosa. First of all, when you've got two-syllable perfect names like that, Lulu Sosa. She tried to hire a hitman to kill her husband, but it turns out she was talking to an undercover officer with support of the FBI.
Wow.
The Texas Rangers put bloody makeup on 50-year-old Roman Sosa so it looked as though he'd been shot in the temple and put him in a shallow grave in the desert, took a photo.
What?
And then put him in a hotel for 3 days. I didn't know the FBI was in on this. I thought this was just a rogue husband that went to Ricky's and got some makeup and did it himself. Now he's got professional Hollywood makeup.
Question. Or they could have just arrested her.
It doesn't seem like they're having fun with this. Like Officer Jones and Officer Brown were like, we could arrest Lulu. I got this idea.
Guys,
I know a guy who's really good. He worked on a couple monster movies. We will put him in the desert in a shallow grave, take a picture of him, and then send it to Lulu to film her response. We'll have something funny to watch at the Christmas party.
It just seems like a lot of work.
It does. Also,
and by the way, why is this a federal case?
Great point. Also, that's taxpayers' money.
Yeah, man.
Taxpayers' money bought the makeup. Where were they? They're in Texas, so I guess the desert isn't that far away, but they had to drive somewhere.
They had to drive gas. Gas is up to almost $3.
Here's what it is. I used to be like a PA, like low guy on the totem pole. Whoever the low guy on the FBI totem pole is, they gave him a shovel, and they're like, dig a grave. Yeah, dig a grave for Roman to sit in.
Oh, my God. What a terrible...
Digging is the worst.
But you know what the funny thing is? I'm going back to your original thing. That when you first read the story, I thought it was like him getting some milk and he overhears her on the phone. Like,
yes.
It's got to look like an accident.
Yes, exactly. I love that part. Because that would have been fun for me. If he would have got up and just started yelling at her. You think you're going to hire someone to kill me? You think I don't know all the hitmen in this small town?
I like the idea of him pretending to be dead and then taking a selfie of him dead as proof that he is dead.
So something that you and I would never do, something that no person should ever do, but an interesting conversation. If you had to get a hitman, where do you get a hitman? I think I would just Google it.
Craigslist?
I think I would just Google it. Yeah, I think that's how it works nowadays.
Services? Craigslist?
Yeah, just like, what's the code word? You know, like Craigslist is all these code words.
Yeah.
Like, what's the code word for hitman? Like exterminator?
Take care of that.
But not roaches? Yeah.
Take care of that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take care of that. Let's continuing down the road of keeping it moving. Roger Federer played tennis in a kilt. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I kind of feel like you want me to hit the brakes on this.
I don't.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it moving. Right.
I saw the
next
picture and I said why,
segment.
and then that was the end of it.
My only question is he wearing underwear? And you're not supposed to with a kill, but I imagine he did because tennis is a rigorous exercise. It's not playing the bagpipes.
Yeah, man. And by the way, there's exposure there going on.
Some bagpipes could be exposed. We have a simple motto on this program. Living up to that motto, we open up our 1-800 Flowers Twitter feed, as I mentioned. Get the straight talk from our listeners. We also have our voicemail line. We'll be hitting that as well. First, we asked for questions for you.
Okay.
Now, I'm really glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Because what happened is some people asked some Star Wars questions.
Oh, okay.
Jalen Rose, never seen a frame of Star Wars.
Which is amazing.
Not a single one. And he claimed it was cultural. I had to explain to him that it's not cultural. It is just weird that you haven't seen it.
Yep.
Thank you. So now that with Jalen gone, we have an opportunity to address some of the most important topics according to our listeners. Number one, this is from Bardia. Bardia wants to know, given that Mark Hamill was displeased with his role and story arc in the upcoming movie, do you think it has to do with him turning to the dark side?
Yeah, not turning to the dark side.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Luke is firmly on one side of this.
No, not turning to the dark side, but just giving up, pretty much. There's a lot. Everything that we've drawn from the trailers are this whole, and even the end of episode 7.
Someone switching teams.
I think it's her. I think she's the one that's going to go to the dark side.
Yeah. You think so?
Yep. I think.
And the title is
The Last Jedi.
That would back up your theory.
Because The Last Jedi is Luke Skywalker.
Or she could be trained into a Jedi and then turn to the dark side, and then she'd be a Sith, then she'd be the last Jedi? I don't know how this works. I'm not like a Star Wars. I don't go that deep in this.
Check this out. The plural of Jedi is Jedi.
Jedi.
And so it could be, Last Jedi doesn't mean necessarily
it could
singular.
Be Kylo Ren and Rey.
So here's the funny thing. The Spanish translation of the upcoming film is
talk to me!
Los Últimos Jedi.
Oh, plural!
Which is plural in Spanish, so not singular.
Because I, ever since a kid, wanted everybody to be on, the light side. What are we calling that? The Force side?
Yeah, no, the light side of the Force.
Yeah, the light side of the Force. Yeah. I always wanted everybody to go there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do. Because, man, Darth Vader was scary. I'm 8 years old. He's choking people.
Favorite character, man.
Yeah, so here's my thing is I want Kylo because I really like girls. I got him Driver. I want him to go to the light side.
I could see that happening too. I could see the end of the story. They call it, again, this is really deep Star Wars stuff. They have this thing they call Gray Jedi, which they're good, but they are not afraid to go to the dark side to get stuff done.
Okay.
And so I could see the end result of her and him, and they're all just kind of this, towing the line between good and evil.
Thank you, Bardia, for allowing us to talk about Star Wars here on Jalen and Jacoby. Next, from our co-producer Matthias, we're going to go back into the safe zone for ESPN. Is Porzingis playing himself into the MVP conversation?
Yes, like the conversation. Yes,
but here's my question:
how, Isaiah Thomas was an MVP conversation guy. No one was saying he should win MVP.
I don't think he got a vote.
But he got one. I think one second place vote or something.
Yeah, but first place vote.
But the point is, I think it's almost like there are levels to this, right?
Yes.
And part of it is just to be mentioned.
Just
to
be
MVP
nominated. Adjacent?
Are you nominated?
Yes.
Are you a nominee? Are you Susan?
Yes.
Susan
do
Lucci?
you fly to New York even though you know you're not going to win the Heisman just to lose the Heisman?
Yes.
Like that
you sit
guy.
there, the clap, and smile.
You wear the suit, and you know you're not going to win because it's obviously going to be Tim Tebow or whatever. I'll just sit
But they
here.
have to have 5 guys up there.
Yeah, they have to. They have to. And it's a trip to New York. There's that kind of thing. But also, I don't understand why we have to have the conversation. Why is it already MVP candidate? Giannis, MVP. Porzingis, MVP. It's we're 10 games. We're 10 games in.
What they're saying. It's wow, this guy's actually playing well.
Yes.
That's all that is, right?
Yes, it's seeding expectations.
Right. It's just, he's playing really well. Now, the problem with Porzingis is that's going to stop him from actually being MVP caliber is, even though the Knicks have far outperformed anyone's expectations at this point, they're still not going to be good enough at the end of the year. And by good enough, I mean 50 wins, division title, something like that, for us to really consider him. But I think he's going to start the All-Star game.
That's fair. When you are Russell Westbrook, you can win the MVP because you dragged your roster to the playoffs.
And more importantly, you did something that was historic.
Yes.
It wasn't just, I had a great year.
Not only historic, I thought it was impossible.
Yeah.
Jalen predicted it. He predicted that Russell Westbrook would average an MVP. And I clowned him every time he said it. I clowned him every time he said it, and then it started to come to fruition, and I was like, oh, you didn't predict that. It never happened.
That's how you got to do it.
That's how I sell my partner here. Next, we have another question from our co-producer, Matthias. He hits us all the time. Shout out. I think he's from Belgium. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. So we had someone who remained nameless. Their name rhymes with Wedgie.
Okay.
That works on this show.
Yes.
Had a flat tire, not yesterday, I want to say 2 days ago. And at 9:19 texted that he had a flat tire and didn't show up to work at all.
Okay.
Which leads to this question from our co-producer. Can you... But he showed up later, but not for our show. He showed up later for other shows that he cares more about. Can you fix a flat tire on a car?
I can. It's not hard. It's time consuming, and it's like you're dirty at the end of it, and then that's why I have AAA, right?
Yes.
But I know how to change it. I've done it. It's not hard at all.
I think I
don't know why
could do it.
People act like it's hard. It's not hard.
I think it's one of those things that's more intimidating until you learn, like chess.
There's nothing to learn.
It's like chess is super easy. Like once you learn what each thing can do, like you're good.
It's hard to do in terms of like I'm grinding.
Where do I put the jack? That'd be my one concern on the axle. But someone told me there's they put a sticker there.
Yeah,
it says put jack here.
It's right. Like look, I don't do.
I don't
stickers.
spend a lot of time underneath cars.
This is what I do. This is the wheel. Just to the right of the wheel, right? Towards the inside of the body.
Towards like the
body,
yes,
the rest of
yes,
the body.
Yes.
Put it there, and then you just crank it up. And now they've got ones where you push a button and it does it for you.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It was just like, that's not fair. But anyway, once it's up in the sky,
unscrew the bolts.
Take the tire off. Bring the new one on. Screw the bolts back up. How's that hard for anyone?
I think it's just more intimidating if you haven't done it before. I could do it, but I would say this is like I'm also like I would just halfway do it just to get myself to someone who can do it professionally. It's just a Band-Aid.
Well, that's the whole point of the spare tire.
It's just a Band-Aid.
Spare tire is only good enough to get you somewhere where someone can do it professionally.
Don't forget, if you call 98580-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail.
What's up, Jalen and Jacoby? It's your boy, Tyler, from ATL. All right, I got a question for you. I'm a 17-year-old senior, and it's just like I just can't get right with the ladies. I'm not ugly. I'm in shape. Just, I don't know if it's social anxiety. I don't know what it is. Any tips for the guy? All right, guys. See you later.
Tyler.
Wow.
17, you're early in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's your first year. It's your first year in the league. You're not going to average a triple-double like Russell Westbrook last year. So, like, keep your expectations. Happiness is a function of expectations. But I do have a tip. And again, I always love giving these tips, been with the same woman for 15 years.
Yeah.
However, I saw this on a television show, like some sort of Oprah Donahue daytime thing. They had some guy giving tips or whatever. I'm old. And here's what his tip was, and it totally makes perfect sense. You don't have to get every woman's number. You don't have to hit on every woman. But start slow. Just start saying hello to strangers. Start saying, how are you doing to women that you find attractive? Not trying to hit on them or pull them or get the digits, but just get more comfortable with opening up that conversation with the stranger.
I have a really spiritual approach to this.
Oh, I like this.
The universe talks to you. So the universe doesn't like people who try.
Oh.
If you're trying, that's what you talk about socially. It's because you're trying. You go out there, you live your life, you have fun, and then the opportunities present themselves. That's just what I've found in life, is that when you're just doing you and having a good time and genuinely like, people, that guy's, he looks like he's fun. He's having fun. He doesn't care what other people think. That's what people are attracted to, as opposed to, excuse me, pardon me, I couldn't help but know. Like, all that puts guards up.
Are we getting close to a trying not to try guy, though?
No, you don't have to try not to try. Just just be you.
Because I would be trying not to try.
Like, my thing is this. Now, the universe also talks because it gives you openings, right?
Does the universe text? Use emojis? Oh, okay.
Universe, it goes straight to the brain.
Oh, I thought it was to my heart. It speaks to my heart.
No.
Yeah.
Speaks to my brain. It's like a Minority Report, right? Like, everything's implanted,
everything's in there.
So what happens is something funny will happen. And you can, like, make your little joke, like, I guess he's not coming back for seconds. Yes. And then just go back to doing what you were doing. And the combination of, like, that was really witty and funny, and he's not using this to pounce, makes you more attractive.
I have my friend from college who's the most successful with the other gender is just smiles a lot. Very smiley, happy person, and I think people see that and they're like, "I want to be around that."
Yeah,
that guy seems to smile. Like whatever's happening in that side of the room seems to be like something I want to be a part of.
Right.
You know,
but there's a limit to that too.
I think your advice was better than mine for Tyler. Good job by you.
What was yours? I can't even remember now.
Doesn't matter. I was like, say hi to girls
say
you don't
hi.
know.
Yeah, no, that's the worst. Don't go walking up to strangers saying hello.
I've been with the same girl 15 years. I don't do this.
Hello.
You know what I mean? I'm not out there.
Is that how you got with her? By saying hello?
No. Don't follow that advice. Yeah. And don't forget, if you go to our Reddit page, it is reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby, the community of people in there. Check it out. I go in there just to see what people are saying, and they have questions for us. Jacoby and Amin, this is from Tony.
Okay.
Is letting someone else order for you at a restaurant that they've been to before, but you have not, a soft move or a boss move? I'm taking you to my favorite restaurant.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
I get there. Mm-hmm. And I order for you.
Like, not
even a conversation.
So this isn't, you gotta have the filet.
I would never do this in real life. In real life, I would suggest some things that I love.
Right, you say, you gotta have
or
this.
Or I would order something you have to have and say, we'll share that. If you needed to have the salmon, and you're like, I don't really like salmon, I'd be like, I'm going to order it. It's going to be here.
And just try
we'll share it.
Okay.
I would never do this in real life.
Okay.
But let's imagine a hypothetical scenario in which I had ordered for you. Waiter comes over. I'm like, he's going to have the filet. No. It's the best. I'm going to have the salmon.
No chance in hell.
I think I'm vetoing that. I think I'm vetoing
no
that.
chance in hell. This is not personal.
Oh, yeah.
If my wife did it, I'd be like, no.
Don't think.
Nobody.
If I really wanted the filet,
I
would switch it anyway. I would switch it anyway. Just so you don't win. I'm getting something else. So we've got new information about LiAngelo Ball, his friend Cody, and his friend Jalen in China.
Oof.
What we learned today is that they were attempting to steal either one or multiple pairs of sunglasses from the Louis Vuitton store. Now, Amin, I spoke about this earlier with Steven, but I just want to get your take on this.
Yeah.
Of all the places to shoplift, China would be low on the list, and the Louis Vuitton store in China even lower on the list.
I don't know if this kid has ever watched. There's this show on cable. Don't remember the channel.
Oh, I know what it's called.
Locked Up Abroad.
You do not want to get locked up abroad. That should be. It should be. When my kids are teenagers, we're gonna do a marathon one day.
No, well, I mean, you got to do everything. The Scared Straight. Everything. Every prison show we're gonna watch.
Locked Up Abroad. Yeah. They just for a pair of sunglasses. I mean, there are certain countries. You'll be there for years.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't allow you phone calls.
This right here, they're saying 3 to 10. 3 to 10. But that's not the hard part, right? The hard part is, in China, they ain't got no bail bondsman. You wait until your trial comes up, and trials usually take
I think he gets out on bail.
There is no bail. They're trying to negotiate.
Producers produce. I think they're bailing.
They're trying to negotiate. There is no actual bail system in China. This would be a special case. But
I think they were granted something. We'll take a look. Producer's going to produce. But I think they're on bail. But at the same time, here's another thing I want to talk to you about. This is one thing that boggles my mind. They probably each didn't steal a pair of sunglasses.
You think one did and the others are covering?
The others, I think it was the three of them went into the store.
Right.
And perhaps one is implicated because they asked a salesperson about something on this side of the room. I've never done this myself. Well, your boy steals something from the other side of the room.
Like Juice, like in Juice, when he goes and talks to the girl. And
it could be one of those type of things.
Time lead, by the way, references Juice, Donahue.
Yeah, Donahue, Juice, we're old. But it seems, my guess is that one of them stole the sunglasses. So one person is the person who should be looking at all of this, not three of them.
Here's the problem. There's two sides to this. One side is it's a team sport, and everything is about the bro code goes beyond regular bros. It's like it's a very close knit family when you talk about it. And they're traveling on the road. This is supposed to be a bonding experience, so it's really hard to sell out your boy because you really had nothing to do with it. Now you would want your boy, to be like he didn't have anything to do with this.
Yes,
right.
They're out on bail. We just learned from our producers producing.
Okay.
One for Jacoby.
They pull strings.
Yeah, of course.
That's not.
They're like, oh, that's LeVar's son. Oh yeah, bail, no problem.
But at the same time, I'm not going to overseas jail for anybody.
I'm not doing anything.
Not like there's limits to the bro code. Like I feel like broke down palace. That's still no. I don't do that.
Yes,
I will not do broke down palace for that.
Do you? When I walk out of stores like that and I get to the detectors, I get nervous even if I don't have anything. I get nervous just walking through. Like, what if it's my day? What if that thing I tried on is somehow like in my pocket? Like, I get nervous. Even if as an innocent person, I get nervous. I can't imagine what they were thinking going out of the store
Jacoby,
with the sunglasses.
You know what you've just experienced?
What?
That's what it feels like to be black.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, dude. It's like when I'm driving, I'm in my lane, I'm in the speed limit, and cop. Oh, geez,
this is not a black people thing.
No.
Everybody gets nervous.
No.
Everybody gets nervous.
No.
Everybody
I
gets
have
nervous.
Plenty of friends who are like, why is it all like, yeah, because I always think it's me. Even when I'm not doing anything.
One thing that's a way people think is brazenly talking back to the police officers.
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness!
I was not doing 80. What are you telling you? Crazy? That was 55.
No, I'm just like, yes sir, no sir,
yes sir, yes sir.
So, but yeah, like that. There's a stress level of entering those types of stores, let alone to try and steal from it actively. Again, I go back to I said this on Sports Nation earlier. I said going back to the 21st century philosopher Akon, who once said, "I'm steady trying to find the motive. Why do what I done? Why would you do this? Why? Why? You know what I think it is? Armchair psychologist here. This guy, middle child syndrome. Big brother's in the NBA. Everyone loves him. Little
brother's the prodigy.
Got his own shoe.
Yeah.
Where's Jello's shoe?
Where's Jello's anything?
Yeah. Forgot about Jello.
You know what Tracy McGrady calls him? Two and a possible.
Two and a possible?
Two and a possible. Which we've basically co-opted here in this program. We used to credit him, but he got tired of saying what Tracy McGrady said. It's such a good one, though.
And Tracy's famous enough. He doesn't need extra fame.
We mentioned you once.
Tracy's so credited. Tracy's so famous. There's a building in Massachusetts that is all about being famous, and he got inducted into that building.
Springfield, Massachusetts. Shout out to the 413, Western Massachusetts.
No more help for him.
Even though we beat Central my senior year. And we beat Catholic. This I want to talk to you about. It's one of those little tiny NBA stories that no one cares about that I find interesting.
Okay.
Steph Curry and James Harden, not Nike athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Some, I would argue, probably the biggest athletes that are not Nike athletes in the NBA.
Sure.
They're rolling down their socks.
Yes.
To not show the swooshes.
This is,
something or nothing.
This is something because you know what it is? It is the modern day version of Michael Jordan draping the flag over his shoulders to cover the Reebok logo.
At the Dream Team.
Yeah, at Dream Team when they won the gold medal.
Shame what happened to Reebok.
Shame
what happened to Reebok.
Like, hey, think about it, man.
Future was like, I can't believe I signed with Reebok. They're going to wear these for the next 2 years.
Oh, Reebok is tough, man. But
will they get a letter? Will something happen? Will
you can't tell people how to wear their
socks. Yeah, I guess.
My God, my shin's got to breathe.
I would probably do the exact same thing. If someone was paying me multiple, I mean, I think they're probably both $10 million a year athletes, right?
What?
For the sneaker deals?
James Harden signed like a $200 million sneaker deal.
I'm
way more than 10 years.
Whatever it takes. Yeah, whatever it takes. I will roll down my socks. Even if I lose 3 points a game because of it, fine.
But like the whole thing is again, the league took it a step too far, right? The swoosh is obnoxious now, right? On the jerseys.
It's large.
It's over. It's just too big. Have you seen the T-shirt? Like there's a warm-up shirt that they have. Every team has like Clippers.
Yeah.
But Clippers or whatever the team name is very small. And in the middle is a massive swoosh. All you see is a swoosh. So it kind of gets to a point where I don't blame these athletes, especially forget if you're getting paid $200 million or whatever. What about the guys who aren't getting paid? You're basically using me for a billboard and not paying me extra for it. I don't have a problem with them having a problem with it. Now, obviously, they can't black it out.
I could make the argument that they split basketball revenue, which Nike is, and they are actually being paid for it. But that's a nerdy argument. We're just going to move on. But like they are kind of getting paid because it all goes into the pot that they all chop up to come up with the salary cap. And now we've just gone down this little side path that only nerds care about.
The other funny thing about this story is it reminds me again, or I'm upset about why there's swooshes everywhere, and then I realize, oh wait, basketball is literally the last holdout for having logos on there.
Yes.
So,
do you know how much it bothers me that there's a Squarespace logo on the Knicks jersey? Do you know how much it bothers me the GEs and the Celtics jersey? Do you know how much it bothers me?
Some of them are.
None of them bother me. None of them bother me. I really thought I would care more.
No,
I do not care at all. The Cavs one looks kind of dope.
The Goodyear logo?
The Goodyear logo, The Goodyear logo looks dope.
Awesome.
They kind of won. The Squarespace logo is a corny logo, so it's like,
Harley Davidson on the
Bucks.
That was a nice one.
Like, I'm honestly like, not only it kind of adds a little bit,
but like this, like here's my thing. It's like nobody cares that the most popular sporting properties in the world, which are these huge soccer clubs in Europe, they all have had this for decades, and nobody cares. Everyone buys those jerseys.
Yes, and wears them proudly.
Real Madrid jersey.
Of course.
Nobody cares. But for some reason here, we're puritanical about that. But what I was referring to was football jerseys have a Nike swoosh on them. Baseball jerseys have the Majestic, and obviously
New Era
hockey,
hats.
New Era hats. Hockey has, I think, CCM or whatever it is. Like, you can see all that branding on the manufacturer of the jerseys. Basketball is the only one where the Adidas logo had to be hidden on the inside tag or on the bottom of the jersey, the hem, but they had to tuck it in. And so for them to switch to this was really groundbreaking, but at the same time, we're literally the last ones to do this.
Why they switched to that.
Money.
Like, he was like, oh, you want us to hide the logo? That's this much.
Yeah.
And if we put the logo on the jersey, it's this much. Like, cool. Option door number 2, please.
Yeah.
Let's talk about rookies for a little bit.
Okay.
The Celtics have won 9 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that has to do with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I want to focus on Tatum. There are certain players, like Markelle Fultz, it just seems like, oh, the NBA experience is just like, oh, this isn't a match. So far. He could turn into the next greatest thing in the world.
That's not fair. That guy's hurt.
Sure.
He can't lift his arm.
It was weird, though. Let me explain. I'm trying to pick up an example. Someone who didn't take to the NBA water naturally.
Okay.
Jason Tatum, it's just like a baby you put in the water, and all of a sudden he starts freestyling.
Yeah.
Like what is it about his skill set, his game, what the Celtics are doing that has made him so successful so early in the season?
I think we have to take into account that, first of all, he's put in a very low-stress role in terms of what he's expected to do. Because it's a set team and they've already got guys who can do everything. So all he has to do is go out there and get buckets. Don't have to worry about making other people better.
Play defense. Yeah.
And not be terrible at defense. And he's managing that. So that set of expectations is a lot easier to deal with than, let's say, Dennis Smith. Now, you might say Dennis Smith plays on a terrible team. Shouldn't it be a lot easier for him versus this? But no, because Dennis Smith is playing for Rick Carlisle, who's notoriously hard on point guards. And so he's got to try to live up to the expectations of this dude who gave Jason Kidd a hard time. Now, think about that. He gave Jason Kidd, not rookie Jason Kidd, 15 years in the league, Jason Kidd.
Everything went swimmingly with Rondo, too.
Exactly, right? And you're trying to learn all the other NBA stuff while you're doing it. And so, look, this not meant as a knock to Tatum. Obviously, you got to be able to take advantage of that privilege.
Sure.
Like, having the privilege alone doesn't get you there. You have to produce, and he's doing that, and that's great for him. But I do understand also that what he's got going for him is a situation that is more conducive for him to do what he does best and not worry about all the things that he doesn't do well.
Yes, I would certainly say that, to your point, being on a good team is very good for a rookie. It sounds silly, but like when you are in a good team, you've got people around you that shoulder the load, veterans,
and doing
scorers.
the right way, doing things the right way.
Yes, like that helps a lot.
Jordan Bell wasn't on your list.
No, we didn't put him there.
I know he's not. He shouldn't be, but
he shouldn't be there. But we got Ben Simmons I want to talk about next.
Yeah,
and this is the question that everyone's asking. You know what I'm going to say. What's the question?
Should he be eligible?
No.
For Rookie of the Year?
Oh, no, he should definitely be eligible for Rookie of the Year.
He should definitely?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel a way about guys like that.
Oh, see, I think it's great. I think you get used to the NBA lifestyle, the travel, the whole thing. You get to watch. You get to sort of like, you get a trial run. It's like a red shirt year.
That's why he shouldn't be Rookie of the Year.
But if you didn't play a single basketball, you didn't play a single minute.
All of these other guys on this list, they are having, because it's not just going out.
It's an advantage.
It's everything, right? It's I got to get used to lifestyle and scheduling and doing this for a living and living on my own, or who am I living with?
You're not thrown in the fire. Like you go from the sauna to the fire.
And watching film, right? And learning how to watch film like a pro, not like the synergy clips you're watching in college. And all of this high-level stuff is being thrown at you. This dude got to sit in on practice for a year.
A year?
Yeah, a year, and get through all of those bumps, and now all he has to do is play basketball. Now, again, the privilege only takes you so far. You still got to go out there and show and prove. But we cannot ignore that you do have this massive privilege over the Jason Tatums and the Lauri Markkanens and all those.
I love
guys.
where you went with this, because it's something that we've talked about, something I always think about, and something like someone like Bryce Johnson comes to mind, where it's like, you know what, it's not bad. I'm let him marinate for a year. Oh, he's injured, that's fine. We won't rush him back. Like, let's just let him marinate for a year, get that redshirt year, and then we can integrate him in. And then Blake Griffin comes to mind as well. You know, it's just like get injured super early, even out Julius Randle. But I have a theory that Julius Randle got hurt intentionally because he saw his teammates. And he was just like, he's like, you know what?
You need to get hurt some more then.
Yeah.
A couple more times then.
But what other rookies, or the question that everyone asks about Ben Simmons is, can he be a great all-star level player without a jump shot? He's 0 for 6 from 3.
Right. Given that he is 6'10", yes.
Sure. Like, no one asked that question about Zebo.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like, he's technically a big, even though he doesn't always play like that. And honestly, we're at a place in basketball where not everyone has to be a shooter. You just have to have enough shooters. There's a critical mass of shooting that you have to have, that then you can put a guy who can't shoot out there and still be very effective, right?
Of course.
We're seeing problems of that in Cleveland when Dwayne Wade is on the floor with Derrick Rose.
Of course.
LeBron himself isn't a great shooter, even though he's gotten a lot better. It's just the critical mass of shooters isn't there, so now everything's clogged. But if you're Ben Simmons and everyone else on the floor is a shooter, because Embiid's a shooter and Sarge is a shooter and so on and so forth.
Redick.
You're out there. Life is easy.
What he is best at is forcing the defense to make decisions, to double him or getting past somebody or challenging the rim and passing. So if you don't shoot, you can do that.
Yes.
And again, it's a system around you, shooters around you that can still be successful.
Absolutely.
He's been the most impressive rookie thus far in my mind.
Well, yeah.
But
if you want to call him a rookie, sure.
Yeah, he's a rookie. But like in terms of if I was going to buy stock in these people,
he's clearly the best player who's going to be eligible for Rookie of the Year.
Yes, if you want to put it that way, yes, he is the best player who's going to be eligible for Rookie of the Year. What have you seen from Lonzo so far?
As billed. That's we're here in LA and I hear the rumblings and people are getting impatient and I'm like, well, this is who he was. We knew that coming in. This is a guy who's going to make everyone better.
Yes.
This is a guy whose style of play, we see this with really great passers. You're such a great passer and you make passing so fun that the guys who weren't passers, now they want to get in on the fun. They're doing the extra passes and all that. So he's doing all of those things that he was built to do. The part that he was built as not being able to do, shoot and score.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. So I'm like, I don't know why anyone is shocked. This is who he is, and these are the areas of improvement for him. But when I watch him play, it's like I paid $50 for this ticket to go see Lonzo Ball. I feel like I'm getting what I paid for.
Yes, certainly. And I think that there was a stat, I don't have it off the top of my head, during the draft, was like he shot something like 60% of his field goals are at the rim.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't want to shoot from deep.
Right.
And he doesn't have to. Again, on this team,
right,
they don't necessarily have the Redick and Embiid, and they don't have Brook Lopez is their best 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they are a broken team. And
I think the other thing you got to keep in mind with him is that it can't reach a point. It can't hit Ricky Rubio levels. And what I mean by that is Ricky Rubio is another great passer who couldn't score or couldn't shoot. But there's a Mendoza line of you can't avoid scoring and shooting because now it's a detriment and now it takes away from your passing because no one has to play you. Ricky Rubio went through some really dark times in Minnesota because his confidence was shot. And that's what Lonzo Ball, that's the one thing I would say watch out for. It's not is he shooting well or not, is he shooting so poorly, forget about the numbers, that he doesn't feel like shooting anymore.
Do you know Jalen does the comparisons on draft night? Mm-hmm. His comparison for Lonzo Ball
was Ricky Rubio.
It wasn't Jason Kidd. It wasn't like all these other guys. It was Ricky Rubio. Yeah. I think it's pretty accurate from what we've seen so far. And that's not bad. Ricky Rubio is a great player who's going to make millions and millions of dollars and play over a decade. Remember I said Nordstrom is going to change something about your holiday shopping.
Yeah, you did. You teased that. And I thought you were just joking.
24/7 curbside pickup. So you go online or whatever.
Right.
Say, I'll be there at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm avoiding all the crowds.
Uh-huh.
These are the items that I want. I'm already familiar with them. You can avoid the whole hassle.
Okay.
Are you in?
Question. Why wouldn't you just have them deliver to your house?
I don't think they do that.
Well, you're ordering it online.
That's a great question.
Like, I don't understand.
Can I say an unpopular opinion alert?
Uh-huh.
I like the hustle and bustle of Christmas shopping.
That is very unpopular.
I like the hustle and bustle.
What are you talking about? Hustle and bustle?
I kind of like it.
What are you talking about, man?
I'm a New Yorker. I like to be in big crowds and dealing with people and everyone's smiling and there's like fake snow coming down at the Americana brand.
No, New Yorker. No? The New Yorker sitting here says, I don't like people. That's the whole point.
I like it.
You don't like
I've just been
people.
here too long. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I've been here too long.
You want to
I
feel
don't see any people.
You want to feel alive again.
Yeah, like
right?
you are one of the 5 faces that I will look at today. That's just how Los Angeles works.
Yeah, man.
I want to thank Amin El-Hassan for coming through. I want to thank not Tracy McGrady did not come through. I want to thank Steven Jackson
Keep giving that
for
guy
coming
credit.
through.
Just
yeah,
go
why
ahead.
not? Yeah, exactly. We're obligated to say his name once a show because we steal his ideas. Shout out. And I want to thank all of our guests for coming by. Big shout, Steven Jackson, Amin El-Hassan, and a big shout to an ailing Brian Windhurst who couldn't make it.
Shout out.
If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us voicemails, and we'll respond to them. It is Woman Crush Wednesday here on Jalen Jacoby, where we always celebrate the kinder, gentler, more intelligent, better-smelling gender of our species. So we'll be taking all female voicemails for this segment. Reggie, let's hear the first one.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. This is Natalie from Missouri. Hey, I'm home right now on maternity leave. Just had a baby a few weeks ago, so I'm watching a lot of movies. I really like sports movies, so I wondered what your favorite sports movies were and if you had any recommendations for me of movies that I should watch. Thanks.
Ooh, Natalie. All right. My favorite sports movie is probably not going to be your favorite sports movie. But here's a sports movie that's barely a sports movie that made me cry when I first saw it, and I was like in my teens, and I watched it again back to back. Just ran back the VHS that we got from Blockbuster or whatever. A movie called Stealing Home, starring Mark Harmon. It'll make you cry. What? But if you're not into that kind of thing, just give White Man Can't Jump. Yep. And you know what? I'm calling Above the Rim a sports movie, too. Yep. And while you're at it, you can Google Jalen and Jacoby Above the Rim. Jalen and I did a breakdown of Above the Rim back in the old days when we didn't have to pay for things and clear videos. And that is one of my favorite podcasts that we did. So watch Above the Rim and then Google Jalen and Jacoby Above the Rim. I believe you'll find the clip on YouTube of us breaking down that movie the way it deserves to be broken down in meticulous detail over a lot of time. Let's listen to the next female voicemail here on this Woman Crush Wednesday on Jalen and Jacoby. David Jacoby by himself as Jalen has abandoned me. Finally, I'm free of the burden of Jalen Rose. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey, Jalen. Hey, Jacoby. It's DePaul from Atlanta. I actually wanted to know what your thoughts are on the Hawks this year. We have a very young squad. No more Tim Hardaway Jr., no more Paul Millsap. So what are your thoughts on how the Hawks will favor in this season, and do you think they're going to make the playoffs? All right. Keep giving the people what they want. Shout out to Reggie in the back.
Thank you so much for the call. I love Atlanta. Let me just start by saying that. I love Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta a million times. And you know, once I say something nice, I'm about to say something not nice. Atlanta's in trouble. If you look at this roster, you're like, where am I going to get my buckets? I will say this, is sometimes in life you have to admit when you're wrong. I was very concerned about the Dennis Schroeder era, whatever we're calling him. I was very concerned about that. I was shocked when they said goodbye to Jeff Teague and they basically gave the keys to the Hawks car to a young German man with a big yellow patch in his hair. But thus far this season, he has exceeded expectations, and some of the tendencies of his wildness and turnovers and driving the lane and trying to get fouls and throwing the ball at the basket and not hitting it, those sort of things are gone. But when you look at this roster, you're like, where are my buckets coming from? You're going to get a couple from Bazemore. You're going to get, like Dwayne Dedman's going to get you a couple, but then you're looking at guys like Muscala, and you're looking at Taurean Prince and saying, get me buckets. And this team will not be the worst team in the league, but they'll be close. Yep. However, to stay positive, I think your name's Stefan. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it. To stay positive about this process is the franchise is doing what it should be doing. It's bottoming out. It's saying, what we will do is we will bottom out. We will pick some young players to build around. I guess they've picked Bazemore and Schroeder to build around. And then this is the way you get better as you tear it down. You have to be bad before you are good in the NBA the way it is currently structured. That's the good news. The bad news is you're not just bad, you are bad this season. Thank you so much for the call. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby. This is Jasmine calling from Pittsburgh. I wanted to call in for Women Crush Wednesday with a fantasy football update. I have the Patriots D on my team, and they had a bye week, so I decided to pick up the Detroit Lions defense and they actually scored 6 points, and my team won the game. Question for you guys. Who do you think will win this year's NFL MVP? With so many injuries, it's hard to tell who might win, so I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that. Also, I wanted to shout out my boyfriend AJ. We celebrated an anniversary this week, and we both really, really love your show. So shout out to him, shout out to Reggie. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.
Shout out to AJ and Jasmine. Pittsburgh, underrated city. Not a lot of people are like, I'm going on vacation to Pittsburgh. I totally understand that. But when you are in Pittsburgh for work or whatever, it's fun, man. It's fun there. Rivers, it's pretty. The stadium's awesome. The people are super nice. I was at a bar once. I asked the guy where I should go next. He said, I'll show you. Get in my car and I'll take you there. And got out from behind the bar, put me in a car, drove me across town like a taxi. I tried to pay him, and he thought I was disrespecting him and didn't take the money. That's how nice people are in Pittsburgh. But to answer your question, Jasmine, what do you mean that's a lie, Reg? That happened in real life. It's exactly what happened. Jasmine, to answer your question, the NFL MVP always goes to a quarterback, right? So there's no defensive player that's so, outperforming everybody else in that J.J. Watt way where you consider giving it to them. So they're off. You want to look at running backs, and you look at someone like Kareem Hunt, who has been on a team that's been surprisingly very good, exceeding expectations. He's so young, and he's so good. And when you look at his yards from scrimmage, it matches up to great seasons of great running backs, Hall of Fame running backs of the past, thus far through this much time in the season. But right now, if I'm being realistic, if I was in Vegas and I had to put money on who's going to win the most valuable player award in the NFL, it's got to be Carson Wentz or Tom Brady. And one thing about MVP awards is it's not really a best player award. It's a weird mix of best season plus guy we want to recognize plus can't always give it to the same guy every single year because that gets boring type of a thing, which would have me leaning towards Carson Wentz. But if I was in Vegas and I could make money by betting on both Wentz and Brady, I would probably do that. But I'm not a good sports gambler. But to answer your question, I would say Carson Wentz thus far is the most valuable player in the National Football League. Thank you so much for the call, Jasmine. Shout out to AJ and Jasmine in Pittsburgh. Let's listen to another voicemail.
Hey, Jalen Jacoby. My name's Julia. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I go to school up here in Boston. And I just want to give a shout-out to my Woman Crush Wednesday, my mom, who grew up on Detroit over on Chatham Street. So Detroit represent. I have a question about, bandwagoning. So how many teams is too many teams to root for in the same league? So, for example, I like Memphis Grizzlies since I'm from there, but because I live in Boston now, I like to get behind Boston, the Celtics and Kyrie Irving, and shout out to Gordon Hayward for taking the Mamba, his advice and getting better. But how many teams is too many teams? Obviously, you can't root for like half the league, but do they have to be in separate conferences? Like, is there like a protocol with it? Shout out to the crew. And keep giving people what they want. Thanks. Bye.
Julia, you come to the right place because Jalen's not here. And Jalen has strong opinions about how other people should root for what teams and, the certain mile radius that you have to be within a city to root for that team. And if you move and if your parents are from that place and all these other things. Well, guess what? I'm the die easy guy. Do you know what I do, Julia? You can root for teams just like me. Just follow your heart. Just turn on the TV and watch a game and just find yourself rooting for one of those two teams. And then just pick that team as your team. That's what I do. I don't love the Clippers. I didn't grow up a Clipper fan. I barely understood why the Clippers were the Clippers or how they existed or if they even mattered in the NBA my entire childhood. Move out here, go to some Clipper games, take your son to a Clipper game. He falls in love with Blake Griffin. Boom, Clipper fan. You guys got Kyrie Irving, 9-game win streak. Be a Celtics fan. Don't be scared to jump on the bandwagon. Other people just disparage bandwagon fans because they're jealous because their team is losing. You can't look. I am very committed when it comes to my job. This staff and this show. I'm very committed when it comes to my family and my wife. When it comes to sports fandom, I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place, and you don't let anybody tell you any differently. Okay, Julia. I want to thank again Brian Windhorst. Get better. I want to thank Steven Jackson for coming by. It's always fun. I also want to thank Amin El Hassan.